My client has been slapped with a third charge. So he has three charges and Ashel Morgan has one. His charges pertain to, they say, threatening words. Two against his wife, which should really be a family court matter, and the other one reportedly against Ashel. He has totally denied issuing any threats, and I think that these charges are just thrown in to give some sort of semblance of some explanation to what those three people did. We are not going to rest until we know who the third person is. I am so disgusted that an offense so great as shooting a man in his own yard and breaking his legs can only be slapped with one charge for Ashel and two for Kareem, a summary trial. In all my years of practice, these sort of charges should be more serious charges, should be indictable before judge and jury. You can't have one level of justice for some persons and another level for another. So now they have put it summary charges at the magistrate court in Calico, and he's in the same level. His matter has been transferred to the magistrate court in Calico. It is totally against all principles and rules of justice, and I cannot see how the application of the prosecutorial code could justify those minor charges and his charge to be almost in the same category. It's just, anyway, the absence of the third person being charged is a serious indictment on the administration of justice. The fact that there has been no joint enterprise charge cries out for justice, because if you don't charge Ashel with the initial trespass and the other two, where are we going? That is what started everything. I'm accustomed to the prosecution laying out all the possible charges, sometimes 9, 8, 7 charges for incidents like that. Every single charge that can be conceived. I would like to know what are they alleged as Ashel assaulted my client with? Because I see no firearm charges for not having a licensed firearm. There's a lot more to be discovered in this matter. And we're not going to
speak about discovered. I noticed that you did not ask for disclosure.
Yeah, well, I would do it in writing. I know that it won't be an incident. It will not be an issue. We will get disclosure, but I normally do it in writing.
But would disclosure reveal the identity of the third person?
Well, the way I would have done the charges, no. But I am going to write for it. In any event, ask for that to be revealed. There's case law to back it up. And if I have to take this matter all the way to the High Court, Court of Appeal, wherever, we will get the identity of that third person.
Ms. Bacchus, you shared some concern that the complaints, the charges that involve Mr. John's wife should be heard in family court.
Well, yes, because normally things like these are between the husband and wife should be in the family court. I don't know how they become cross complaints in this particular criminal matter, but we'd see when we get to the Calico court what the magistrate says.
But
those two should be.
It's curious, and maybe there's not a question for you, but I spoke to Mrs. John, and I asked her specifically if on that day she and her husband had any conflict, and she told me specifically, not as far as she's aware.
Yeah, and I think she confirmed that also, that there was no conflict between him and that day. So the first thing I did
the charges on that
says
day.
the 13th. I looked at the first thing I looked for, because according to what they said to him before, that there was some, as though there was some report made about an incident prior. But to my mind, they need to try to link all the incidents together, and so they have charged everybody for the 13th of April. That again does not make sense.
Are you confident that your client will be acquitted?
Once we have a proper magistrate, I am confident that he would be acquitted. But if I was defending Ashel on that charge you bring against her, she would be acquitted.
It was an extensive explanation by the DPP. What do you think of that for what's happening now?
You mean the letter that she put out yesterday? Some of the words are lovely, nice and flowery, but I am not convinced that she has done all that she would do if it was a different defendants involved. As I said before, this matter cries out for joint enterprise charge. Can you imagine Karim being convicted and she is acquitted because they can't prove that she assaulted him? And she walks, and Karim, who went there at her behest,
Behest, you say?
right. Thank
Behest,
you.
that's a pretty strong word.
Well, that is what it seems that from the evidence. Karim, who went there with her, because there's no charge against my client for doing anything to Karim. None. They tried very much to bring a charge for some cutlass, and they tried. They interviewed the witnesses over and over. And when I say witnesses, it includes the police who came there. And they just could not bring a charge for any cutlass. There was no cutlass there. So we are left with these little charges about threatening language.
You said earlier if you were defending Senator Morgan that she would be acquitted. Can you elaborate?
Well, I'm an experienced defense attorney, and I see the charge that they have brought. And it was in the night. She was dressed in however she was dressed. They did not bring the charge that would be difficult to get away from, the criminal trespass. That's what started everything. Therefore, they also have to bring the charge of a joint enterprise. She is tied in with Karim. After Karim allegedly shot him on his leg, she pulled a gun and put it in his face, allegedly, and said, "If you talk, I will shoot you." So she is part and parcel of what Karim did. How could they not bring a joint enterprise charge with her and Karim? It is clear to me they're throwing Karim to the dogs. And if I was Karim, I would not use the same lawyer to defend me as she's using.
Mr. John, it's been like 10 weeks since you were shot. How are you feeling physically? How is your leg coming along?
It's coming reasonable, but it's still swollen, and pieces of fragment of bullets coming up to the front, and I went to the doctor. He told me I had to visit him a month from now, and as they come up, they will take them out when they come to this office. But I'm very tired. Hopping around on this stick, these two things, it tired out all the muscles in my body, and plus you have to face all the rest challenge of life.
Such as what?
Providing for yourself, trying to pay your bills, and all that kind of issues.
How is your business going?
Right now the business not working.
Is it closed?
Closed temporary.
Are
because the truck is not working and you can't get materials and whatever. So the workers home at the time too.
How many workers do you have?
3.
Are you surprised that these charges are brought to you, against you in connection to your wife?
Surprised. Very much surprised.
What is the relationship with your wife like since the shooting?
Well, we does not contact, but me and the children, the wife don't really say anything to me. I don't know why. The coach just say no contact should be made between who and who. So I don't know if she get that advice before. But the children come around whenever I have anything to do and they assist. And just that.
All right, thanks.